angle.
Okay, we got you. Hold on. We got the angles.
Lawrence, you are the star. You are the
Yes.
star that you are.
Angles.
Beautiful.
Eat it. Eat it.
Never let me tell you.
Now pull the string for the bucket of water.
Ready?
You're good.
So we are here with Atandwa Kani.
Yeah, buddy.
You're
That version of T'Chaka, he's played T'Chaka on What If, he's played T'Chaka, young T'Chaka on Black Panther. And this is your first BlerDCon.
It is indeed. It is indeed.
And I'm taking it that you are having one hell of a time.
Oh my goodness. Have you ever had like a concept of what paradise would be, like utopia? This is it. This is it. Man, Black Nerd Convention,
Did you know?
Oh.
Why did no one tell you before?
Why? That's my question. I walk around and I see people just absolutely in such a euphoric state of being. Just because they can be who they are completely and celebrate that. And be celebrated because of that. And isn't that what existence is about, what life is about, what love is about? Is to not always change yourself to suit other people's perspective or perception of you, but just to be you completely, freely, outwardly, lovingly. This is beautiful, man.
I love the way he's describing this because that is that feeling.
Yep.
You know, we represent BlerDCon, and BlerDCon is our up and coming streaming out that talks about that's representing black speculative fiction from people of color and black people in all forms of entertainment, from manga, anime, science fiction, horror, you know, so because we love seeing ourselves on the screen.
Yep.
And seeing and putting ourselves in those shoes. Lovecraft Country, Watchmen, Black Panther. You know, it's relevant that we be seen. It's relevant that we have our stories be told. And when you yourself have just described what BlerDCon is, that's something. Once everybody goes home Monday, they're gonna be like, I wish I was back in Virginia. Like,
Absolutely. Absolutely. I had that thought last night. I'm like, take it all in, man. Because there is not a lot of situations where you get to experience this.
It's definitely like a family reunion once a year whenever you get down here. Like there are definitely other black conventions that you go to, but it's a different experience, but it's the same love.
Right.
Wherever you go, it's the same feeling of feeling safe, feeling seen.
Yep.
Seen without being touched, and it's
Yes.
it's a different kind of feeling. It's I don't know. It's intangible. It's almost indescribable.
It's an understanding
Yeah.
it's an understanding. There's a collective understanding of, like, most of us here, even from different places, different continents, we've somewhat had the same kind of trajectory, the same kind of issues, underlying problems, the same kind of challenges. When it comes to culturally, racially, like, we've been through it. We see it on a daily basis. So we all understand that over here. So to be surrounded by this beautiful blackness, I don't have to explain myself. I don't explain myself. I don't have to educate the next one. I'm like, oh, don't touch my hair. Like, how do you even still? I don't have to check someone. I don't have to, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like, yo,
right.
check yourself, bro, because this is not the place.
No.
Everybody understands everyone. Everyone understands, which is it's harmonious, is what it is, And what I loved last night, like, hey, listen,
Wait a
it's
minute.
BlerDCon.
Wait a minute.
It's BlerDCon. No, but we were all chilling. There's a gentleman singing outside with a speaker who's beautiful.
Oh, yes.
There's loads of us out there, and a good friend of mine says, not one cop inside.
None.
No.
None.
And you have to look around and be like,
Wait a minute. Did we win?
Like,
Is this what it is?
Is this what that Mecca feels like?
You know what I'm saying? Exactly. Because it's not like someone like, yo, you need to keep an eye on them. There's a whole lot of black people there. There's something's wrong over there. Like, we don't have that. And we know it. We feel it. So
Safe.
we're protecting that too.
Yeah.
And nobody wants to be that guy. Bro, don't mess this up, man. This is you versus all of us,
Right. So you mentioned, and you actually, one of my cohorts, one of my teammates, was there with you last night at the party, and he shot me the video. And he was like, oh, he was getting it in. He was like, Young T'Chaka is getting it in.
Actually, I was there too.
Yes.
I'm human.
No.
Sometimes
we
I
were
like,
like, you know, cousin.
You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I need to shake it a little.
I'm just saying, welcome
You know what
home.
I'm saying? Sometimes, you know what I'm saying?
Please, by all means, cut loose.
But once again, it proves that having something like this for this amount of time, you do whatever worries you had, whatever stress you had, it's gone for those 3 to 4 days.
Gone.
And until you go back home, you're like, I got to deal with the airport, I got to deal with the traffic, I got to
The job.
deal with the job.
Exactly.
So I don't know where we can go, but we'll start with what if. When you were approached playing that role of Young T'Chaka again, knowing that you were pretty much following the footsteps of Chadwick Boseman, where did that put your mindset?
It's a lot of pressure. It's a lot of pressure. Because the impact of the first Black Panther, that the setup, the opening scene where we see King T'Chaka talking to his brother Njobu, played by Sterling K. Brown, and that set the tone of the entire film. It was an intense moment. There's intensity over there, and it just gave momentum for the rest of the film. So coming back to do What If, I'm like, oh, wait, I need to find that same intensity. I need to find that same person that I transported my mind to, for the character to be while I was playing King T'Chaka. And then also realizing the weight on the shoulders, because as you said, Chadwick had just done What If, the first one, before he passed. And it's also realizing I'm a black man in this space, and we don't have a lot of black characters. So it feels like I'm representing blackness, which is what we do everywhere we go because we don't have a choice. We wear it, quite literally. But it was a moment to either you shy away from it or you step up to it. You know what I'm saying? And we all have those moments. We all have those callings. And I decided to step up and be non-apologetic about it. I was unapologetic about my blackness, about my accent, about my understanding of the role. I will say though, I was in the studio and I've got the director on Zoom over there on a screen, and so you only feed your lines. You know what I'm saying? It's not like we're all there. So you just give it line by line by line. And I'm asking the director, so who's feeding me this line? I mean, I can see it says Iron Man or whatever, but like, who's feeding me this line? And the director's like, yeah, that's gonna be Robert. I'm like, Downey Jr.? It's like, yeah. So I'm talking to Robert Downey Jr. I'm gonna be talking like, I wanna be talking to Robert. So I had that kind of spaz out, but you can't do that alone. You know, it's professionalism. You have to be, man.
You're just a person. You're just a person on the other side of the camera. Yeah, sure. No
But it's, I
problem.
mean, every opportunity that we get as black people on such big platforms, we cannot squander them. We can't afford to squander them. You know what I'm saying? We have to take full advantage of every single thing, because we haven't had a history of just plethora of opportunities or plethora of shows to be part of.
And the show growth.
And yeah, absolutely. Because we exist everywhere. I don't understand this. People get the notion that there's lands where black people don't exist. I don't get it. Like, not to dog it, but like, I don't watch Game of Thrones because where are the black people? You know what I'm
Wow.
saying?
Except for House of
House of the Dragon
They
is
put us
quite.
in the past.
Yeah,
We are rocking things on that. I'm just gonna say.
Let's set up a show where there's no black people. We'll bring them in as the people. Come on now.
I know you're right. You're right on that.
We are everywhere, my brother. Let me tell you. And they know it too because they know where they got us from. To bring us to where they were going. We're everywhere, so don't make a movie where there's no black people. Me, I don't understand that thing. Me, I'm black, man.
No, I agree.
I'm never going to be invited here again. I would like to say this is
No.
my last program.
We hope to have you back.
They will know me by the end of this. Like, do not invite that militant black guy.
No, we need more militant black.
You amongst brethren, and if that's the case.
I like a good fight.
If you want to test the support you have here, just throw a hat up in the air.
There it is. Now you know you're home.
Give me one of those foldable white chairs. Who wants it?
Oh my goodness.
That is hilarious.
See,
I gotta get
we'll
one.
get that.
Yeah.
We'll get that. That's a perfect example. That in itself, everybody, that's BlerDCon.
Oh my
And,
god. I am stuck. I have literally just lost my question. Oh my god. No, that was, you see what you do? I am very
Back after a short intermission.
what? I overheard your other interview that you just starred, the star of the Othello play.
I am indeed.
You are lovely. Do you like acting in those types of things? Is that something that you like to go back to after you've done something that's in more popular culture? Does that help you kind of get your, reseal or reset your foundation for your acting skills?
Yes. Actors are tested in theater. That's where the big test comes from. There's a lot of theater actors that will transition into film and television, but there's not a lot of film and television actors that can go back into theater because it exposes you.
In what sense?
It's prolonged, held emotional state. It's the entire emotional trajectory. It's not cut. Then the next scene we're laughing. The next scene we're crying. It's just you have to build it. You build it and build it. Then you get to the pinnacle, to the climax, and then we'll see what happens to you after that. It's either deterioration or a continuation of joyous nature or whatever. But I believe every actor should always go back to theater. You always. This is the foundation of performance. This is quite literally sitting around the fire telling the events of the day. It is literally that, you know what I'm saying?
Is there a playwright that you would actually like to work for, a black playwright that you'd like to work for? I have one in my head.
Living or not?
Either one, what your choice? Your Majesty.
I'm an avid fan of August Wilson. Because of the historical context of his plays. The 10 plays throughout the decades of the 1900s. It's it connects Africa to African Americans when first transported here and how their lives were because of that, into the survival of blackness throughout the many years. If you talk about a play like Fences, you're talking about breaking generational curses. You're talking about dreaming or trying to find stability. The father trying to tell the son, don't chase the stupid dream. I tried, it didn't work. So do something that's going to secure you money. You know what I'm saying? Breaking that generational curse. So August Wilson has always been so prolific. And if I could, I would do all of his plays.
That is an undertaking.
Absolutely. But why are we here? Why are we here?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I'd love to see that.
Could you imagine? I think that's a task.
That is it.
I mean, when you see people, and I'm glad you mentioned that, because when you see people like Viola Davis, who mentioned the same thing going into the when you see
Or
black men,
Denzel.
or Denzel, doing fences, and now Gladiator, and he's even spoken and done Othello and spoken about it. So
You're doing this recently with Jake Gyllenhaal.
yeah,
Yeah.
So when you see actors, especially that look like us, represent us, that's stepping into like, we realize that they are way more intentionally talented than what the society and as a whole will give them. So I'm glad you mentioned that.
Absolutely.
So
Because it's a commitment,
yeah.
Like you commit anything you start doing, you're going to be bad at it, but you commit to it and you start to refine, you start to polish, you start to sharpen. And you cannot take that away from anyone. That's the lasting impression of anyone's work, is that they have committed their whole lives, dedicated all of their efforts to this. I want to kill this thing.
I thought you got him the first time.
Yeah, no, I was like, you gonna pull an Obama, because that would be awesome right now on camera.
And Michelle said,
True Black Panther reflexes.
exactly. I'm looking bad over here going, did I get it?
But it looks really make it look seamless.
So when you mentioned militants, which you're amongst that right now, your father has an amazing background.
Yes.
When it comes to fighting for the rights of his people.
Absolutely.
Can you talk about that?
Sure. South African, the previous government was a racist apartheid government which oppressed and suppressed the majority of the population of the country, which are black people. And growing up in a small town, my father was born in Port Elizabeth, in a small little town, used to work for Ford, assembling engines, before he realized that he needs to do something. He needs to have a voice, he needs to be heard. So he found this old white guy because we needed that channel. Sometimes you need alliances. You need, the help of these people who have put you in this situation. It's the least you could do, white guy. His name was Atandwa Kani, and they created the Serpent Players, and they spoke about the injustices of South Africa. All of the laws that were passed that did not favor or serve any black person at all. There was a book called the Dom Pass. It's like a dumb book that you needed. You couldn't be in a certain area at a certain time. You couldn't work for a certain person. You couldn't be there. You couldn't do this. It was like 200 and something pages, and you would never have everything in order. So it'll be just an excuse to look through your book. This is out of order. Throw you in jail. So he started working in 1975. He did this play called The Island about these two political prisoners who were sent to Robben Island, where Mandela was sent to, for fighting for freedom. Like the story of Antigone, there's a play within the play where you bury the body of your brother even though he's against the state, but is it okay to be in prison for doing what is right, basically? So they won a Tony Award in '76 and arrived in South Africa, put in solitary confinement. He was put on the hit list because he was seen as someone who's going to topple the government through his works. Stabbed 11 times, lost an eye. Still continues to write. He did Othello in '88, kissed a white woman first time on stage in South Africa, in prison. He did Strindberg's Miss Julie, kissed another white woman in jail. I'm like, bruh, stop it with the white woman and the kisses and stuff, bro. Like, what's going on? But he needed to make the point that this is human. We're human beings. We're not just animals that's to be used for your own purpose, This man fought and fought and fought, which is why today I can say that art is a tool, it's a weapon. You can use art as a strong, strong weapon. Other people have other, tools. We had people who went out to rally in the streets. We have stone throwers, we have whatever, but we also have art. And it's as dangerous as all of those. And that's where I get my militancy from. Because when I was growing up, we didn't have art for entertainment. We didn't have art for art's sake. Art had to have a message. Art had to have an impact. It had to change minds. It had to. Otherwise, we're wasting our time. We don't have time to waste. So every time I approach a role, I'm like, what's the purpose? What's the meaning? But like, who are we serving? Who are we exposing? What are we doing? I'm not going to do a Cinderella story if we don't have a twist to it. You know what I'm saying? If we don't expose the injustices of a current government. You know what I'm saying? Or one that is on its way. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So you know where to look when you're looking at stuff like this. If you're that militant perspective, is that the two old white men are fighting each other. I see that on the television, but where should we be looking? That's hiding something else. We're missing something here. Whenever something like that comes out outright and they're gonna show their asses like that, nah, bro. There's something else somewhere.
Yeah. Somebody else is pulling the strings somewhere to make that puppet show go.
I call it a looky loo.
Yeah.
You know exactly.
Yeah.
Look over there, it's like hit the back of the head over here.
Yeah.
Telling you.
So, first BlerDCon.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, not your last.
Not
Definitely
my
not
last.
your
Not
last.
at all.
You
I'm
heard
gonna
that,
be
Hilton. It's not his last. We would love for you to come check out PlayStation.
Absolutely.
We currently have a live stream up on the second floor.
Oh, I'm gonna be there.
If you go up to the elevator to the second floor and turn left, you'll see us. We have a full setup. We are talking to people. We're showing them the beta because we need our stories out there for the people to see.
And you need to let the people that are showing their stories retain their ownership.
Yes.
So that is something that I am extremely excited about with them. I like us to be able to own our own things and not be peddled by somebody else that has no idea why or how
And
to
has
tell
no
our
care
story.
for it.
None.
A good
Not
word.
even.
We don't know how to tell it. That's because you're not supposed to.
It just doesn't
Exactly.
We would tell that.
It doesn't resonate with me. I just don't get it. Yeah. Thank you so much.
That's
Let me give you that
Kanye.
ideas. Let me give you that strength.
Here,
Why was he so
BlerDCon, if you're
angry?
here,
Oh,
come through.
Look at that.
Blur Station, Chris Fury from Blur's Eyeview, Lady Mandalore, room full of Blur's and Blur's Eyeview. My man Tafari.
Mr. Kani, the gentleman, the consummate gentleman, Shakespearean overlord.
I think I found my other brother.
I am him.
Facts.
Big on it.
Dude, and the rhythm is smooth.
Thank you so much. I
Thank
appreciate
you,
it.
thank
so
you,
much,
bro.
sir.
Thank you so much. Much love.
Thank you, Whoopi. I appreciate you.
Thank you so much. Let's get it.
You'll be seeing us.
I'll be seeing you on that second floor. I'm telling you.
Oh yeah, come through.
Lady from Geek by Hearts.
Lady Mandalore, also known as Room Full of Blurs.
Chris Fury.
We'll be watching Mayhem Media.
And you are watching?
Blurs Eyeview.